Hello and welcome to the Gitter Show with me, Jillian Godsil. Now, today my guest is Davis Weaver, who is the founder and CEO of Blockrank, a Web3 business intelligence project. Davis, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So tell me a bit about your background, please.
Sure. Okay. So, my background is actually in academic data science. So I've been doing biomedical research for 6.5 years now. And I started to get into kind of Web3 crypto stuff a couple of years ago, just for fun on the side. I didn't even have, as you can imagine, academic researchers don't have a lot of disposable income, so it's not like I was even really trying to but I just thought it was super interesting. I was always fascinated by blockchain technologies and the communities that were popping up around crypto. So that was kind of sort of my entry into the space, and I started to talk to loads of people that were doing these small community projects and just learning about some of the challenges they were facing, about understanding who their community was actually composed of, trying to figure out which people were real, which people they actually wanted to interact with, and who was actually going to stick around for the long term. And for me, coming from a data science background, it was clear that a lot of these questions could be answered with the data that was being generated on chain. So that was kind of the genesis of the idea for why I decided to kind of make a pivot into this space.
Well, that's cool. So you're, as a data scientist, you're looking at a space that's on steroids, basically.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of information and not all of it verifiable. So you're taking your very clinical approach and saying, "Hey guys, we can do something here." So I like that thinking. So what type of clients do you work with?
So right now we have several clients all in the Algorand ecosystem. We work with, from small community projects, to a couple of sort of larger venture-backed DeFi projects like XBacked. We're in close contact with Pollenize, which is a really cool sort of innovation game platform that's launching soon. Algo name service, we've been helping them. They've been having some trouble, or they used to have trouble, I should say, with this multi-wallet airdrop farmer problem. So we've been helping them with that. So that's kind of our current customer situation. We are in the process of expanding across chains at the moment, and then we're also in the process of launching. I would say we've only been in the market for 4 or 5 months, but it's all been with what I would call a minimum viable product. And so we've been working really hard on a true self-service analytics platform that sort of anybody can sign up and use. So that's what we're really excited about in the next couple months.
And there's no one else doing this service currently, is there? Not that
You
I'm
know
aware
what?
of.
They're actually, what's funny is that when we started, I could confidently say, no, it was just us. And what's interesting is that whenever there's a good idea, it's had by multiple people. So there are a couple of other startups on other chains that are popping up to meet similar needs of trying to help businesses, of trying to help people understand their customer base and grow their customer base and things like that. And then there's also another startup that I just saw, also known on other chains, that is helping people with this multi-wallet problem, these bots and farmers. So you know what, I think there will be a lot more attention paid to this space in the coming years. But for now, we're the only ones on Algorand that I know
Yeah.
of. But yeah,
Well, I mean,
otherwise,
that's like validation. Some people who have
yes.
less confidence might say, "Oh my God, it's competition." But no, it's validation. You're hitting the right things. So
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been in academics, right? If no one else is working on what you're working on, you probably don't have a very good idea. So that's
yeah,
that's
no,
not really, that doesn't bother me at all.
I subscribe to that too. So tell me, why Algorand? How come you picked that protocol?
Like I said, I didn't get into this for to make a boatload of cash, or to increase my social media footprint or anything like that. I just was super interested in the way that value was being transferred on these next generation systems. And so from an academic standpoint, I just started reading and learning about Algorand. I read their initial papers from back in 2017, 2018, before they actually made the chain. And I was just fascinated by the different consensus algorithms and the way that they actually designed the blockchain. And so when I started to get more involved on the community side, it was just natural for me to go there. And so, yeah, when we had the idea for the, Block Rank the company, I just built the demo and we built the MVP on Algorand, and it's actually been a really great fit for us. We actually get that question a lot from potential investors, like, why are you on the 10th largest chain only? And it's just one of those things where it's just where we were, and I think it's really exciting. We're definitely going to keep supporting Algorand moving forward, even as we go to become kind of a chain agnostic company in the near future.
That's cool. So what do these various Algorand startups, how do they use your data? What type of tricks
Yeah,
are they
so most of them are struggling with some variation of the multi-wallet problem, where their users will create multiple accounts to try to farm incentives, or some other. It's not really nefarious, because these people are just out there trying to make money like so many other people, but it is very counterproductive to the actual project and for honest users of the platform as well, because they end up with large amounts of token, which they can then sell in the liquidity pool, which depresses the price and creates trust issues and things like that. So, Smilecoin has had some issues with that on their gaming platform, and they've been using us. And then, as I mentioned, Algo Name Service, and I think Polynize, as they're launching, they're finding that they have monetary incentives in their game that, as you can imagine, if people can exploit them, they'll try to, and they're trying to prevent that as well. So that's what most of our current customers are using us for. One of the big things that we're trying to expand into is it's just more general business intelligence. So we'd like to be able to provide data, provide analytics that people just have a question about how well their project's doing, or how well their project's doing in response to some action that they took. Like, hey, we ran this new staking program. Hey, we launched this new product. What happened on chain? How many users do we have? How many users do we lose? What other projects are users interested in? Like, who should we collaborate with? Who are our competitors? Like, I think people don't even quite realize what their peer projects are doing. Like, that was something that XPact was super interested in. That they want to know, like, for peer DeFi protocols, like, how do we stack up? And I think that's something that's really accessible off chain, and the data's there on chain, but people just haven't done the work to present it yet. So that's really what we're excited about.
That's interesting. So your main focus is talking to projects, startups, or more advanced, whatever, and helping them look at their data. So it's not a big macro picture. It's more the micro. How am I
Yeah,
doing, and how am I doing in relation to, as I say, if a project does something, how does it impact its community
right.
and its peer to peer? That's very interesting, actually, because you're
Yeah.
right. I haven't heard of much data coming out addressing these issues.
Well, I think it's the space is so young that there hasn't historically been a ton of really well resourced companies that actually care about their user base. A lot of the money in the space has been historically spent by people looking to invest and speculate on digital assets. And so what you see is that a lot of the analytics companies like Nansen or Misari, Token Terminal, even even Algorand native analytics companies like Vestige Finance, their products are all aimed at either institutional or retail investors. And I think that's just it's a big miss for actual people building companies and building products in this space, because how do you track how well you're doing? I mean, that's
Mm. Do you know?
I talked. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was going to say, I spoke with some CMOs recently about how to track how well they're doing, and they come from Web 2 to Web 3, and they're going, it is so hard. Like in
Yeah.
Web 2, they know the funnel, they can track everybody. And Web
Yeah.
3, they're like going, was that working? Was this working? So
Yeah.
it sounds to me as though the service you're offering is going to be really valuable.
Yeah. I mean, we're really excited. I think it's the challenge is going to be in making sure that what we provide actually meets that mission, because
Mm.
that's and that's always the challenge. But I think we're really excited to get to market with our expanded offerings and really start to talk to folks and see how we can make it even more of a fit.
When you say expanded offerings, what type of features are you bringing in? What other new things are you delivering?
Right. So at the moment we have a transaction network, visualization software platform. So you could, for a given project, they can come in and they can look at how the different accounts in their ecosystem interact with one another. They can look at how much how many people are interacting with the liquidity pool over a given amount of time. They can look for these airdrop farmers or these multi-wallet individuals, because when you visualize the data in that way, where the transactions are actually linking different accounts, people who have multiple wallets kind of stick out like a sore thumb, because they typically will seed different accounts from a single account. In any case, those sorts of vectors become very apparent on that front. But as I said, we want to build like what we are building is more general, like time series metrics that people can track for their given project. Those key performance indicators that people are always talking about in business intelligence and consumer analytics. And so that's what really we want to. That's really what we're adding to the network visualizations is this key performance indicator tracking software. And as I mentioned before, we're really excited to have it be something they can look at baseline, but then also something that they can use. They can use events that or initiatives that they're implementing, as an index point, and then they can actually test and evaluate those events based on the changes in their metrics before and after the events took place. I think that's what's coming out in the next few months.
That's, as I say, having spoken to marketeers, not business development, whatever, but it's so lacking. So I can see you being very popular. So tell me then, in terms of, start with Algorand, what other blockchains are you looking at? Have you earmarked any, or is it going to be just a general?
So no. So we're on the Ethereum. We are going to Ethereum mainnet and Algorand for this when we launch this new these new features and this new tracking software. It'll be live on the Ethereum mainnet and Algorand. We might get to Polygon as well in this round. We're on the fence. We haven't quite decided, but Ethereum mainnet and Algorand are locked in. We already have all the Ethereum data on our own servers. We're ingesting it block by block. So we're making a lot of good progress there. And then after that, we're really trying to work directly with the foundations of these other layer one blockchains to try to figure out what makes the most sense for the company, where the most demand is, and what's gonna, what kind of, what's going to allow us to hit the ground running. So we haven't really figured out beyond those three of Polygon, Ethereum, and Algorand, really where next, what's next for us.
Will the merge have any impact on what you're doing?
It probably will. We'll probably have to work with, so we rely on Consensus. They run a service called Infura, where they run nodes to they run a bunch of nodes and then ship the data to us, basically, and they ship the data to loads of people. They have a hugely popular API developer service. So we'll rely on them to navigate the merge. I'm guessing they'll just switch all of their nodes over to the proof of stake version, and it'll be pretty seamless. But
this is
there's
crypto,
always
so who knows?
Yes, there's always unintended consequences. So yeah, it definitely could create some downtime, but we're not live. So if there's some issue with the data ingestion for a week or something, then that's fine.
Doesn't bother you. So I know, last question, I know you don't do macro, but if you did do macro, have you any observations for what's happening now in the marketplace, in terms of like crypto winter? I see that Terra Luna, the Luna Classic is coming. It's like Lazarus coming up from the grave. But do you have any observations from what's happening in the general marketplace?
Yeah, I think our kind of philosophy is that crypto is going to continue to go through these boom and bust cycles until you start to see some killer applications with millions and millions of users that are actually like coming in and spending money on things that aren't speculative. And I think that's in the 90s with the internet, I've been reading a lot about the .com, the areas around the .com crash. And what seems to have happened is that a lot of business models that didn't make sense, that made a lot of sense, just failed and didn't work because there were only like 50 million internet users in that time. And I think that's kind of the stage we are with crypto. I think, it's hard to say how many users there are, although that's something that we're trying to estimate because of this multi-wallet problem. But it's certainly not a lot. A lot of people, a lot of the foundations, they're saying like, how do we get the next billion users to crypto? And I think that's when you see those kind of user metrics, like real people coming in and using blockchain systems every day, that's when you can really that's when the things are really going to turn around. So yeah, I don't have any predictions about, I haven't been looking at the charts. I actually don't think those, I actually had sorry, I'm going on a little tangent on charting now, but I had a phase where I was trying to predict the stock market, as almost every data scientist will at some point. They'll say, I'm really good at analyzing data. I bet I can make a whole boat of money on the stock
Better than
market.
the
And then,
monkeys. Better than the
right.
monkeys with their arrows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But then what most of us learn is that stock markets are really efficient and that it's almost impossible to beat it unless you have institutional grade data and a ton of time. And so I gave up. Most of the people, I gave up. But one of the things I learned during that phase of my life is that these technical analysis indicators that people rely on to predict the movement of assets has absolutely no correlation to the actual future price of those assets in historical data. And so I guess what I'm saying is I have no idea, and no one else does either.
But I like your earlier point when you were saying it's about the numbers. And you're right, because I mean, I worked through the dot-com boom, and I remember it was very exciting. I do remember things like, I remember thinking like boo.com. Well, that's ridiculous. Who would buy clothes online? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who would
Yeah.
buy books
Yeah.
online? That's also
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then you
Yeah.
realize, actually, yeah, most people would do that. My kids do.
Yeah.
They don't buy
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
shops anymore.
Yeah.
They go
Yeah.
online. So it is. You're right. It's about the numbers coming on board. It's not even. Yeah, it's not even like institutional investors. It's actually people using the stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the money will follow the opportunity. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't need to onboard more investors. They're all just chasing, a very limited number of actually good opportunities. So
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. I mean, the FIFA partnership that Algorand announced, like if they can find a way to get, some fraction of world football fans enjoying and using the blockchain technology, then that would be an absolutely titanic shift. So that's
Mhm.
just one of the things that we're excited about.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love your thinking, and it does it brings me back to the 90s, going that boo. And it's so funny looking back on it now. It's only what 20 odd years, 30 years ago. I'm going,
I know.
it wasn't going to happen. Oh, actually, it would. You were probably still in school or in kindergarten or something, but I was actually working.
Yeah, I think I was during the .com and I was probably about 6.
6. Okay. Still very observational of you to be able to refer to it. I was actually, whatever age I was working in it anyway, but I was old enough.
Well, I read a lot of books.
Okay. No, that's it. I just have a lived life. That's all.
I understand. I understand. I
Okay.
understand.
No, fascinating. Thank you for your insights. And I love, as I say, you're going to have a lot of people and across different platforms and protocols that will want your data, because I say, and all those CMOs that are going,
Yeah.
how do I know where this is, what's happening?
Yeah.
I make a move. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it
Yeah.
bots? Very valuable. You're ahead of the curve. Well done. I look forward to
Thank
talking
you.
to you in the future about more stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Best of luck to you all in Glitter. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to staying in touch.
Thank you so much, Davis. Thank you.
All right.